Welcome to Your Family's Health, the program that focuses on healthcare issues with unique and different modalities for taking charge of your health today. Experts talk weekly with our continuing roster of guests from around the country and right here in Nassau County to keep you up to date on the latest health issues and trends. Take care of your mind, body, and soul. Spend the next half hour with the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC, and get on the journey to better health.
Hello and welcome to Your Family's Health. My name is Dr. Jeanine Cook-Garard from the nursing department here at Nassau Community College. Today I hope to bring you an inspirational story of a Long Islander that suffered a major setback and not only survived it, but turned his life around and achieved his dreams that makes us wonder if we could do the same. I'd like to introduce you to Vince Feola from Massapequa Park, an IT security senior manager at Northwell Health, who had a heart attack in August of 2020 and fully recovered enough to create and participate in a triathlon, as well as the New York City Marathon. Vince, welcome to Your Family's Health on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. Welcome.
Thank you.
This is an excellent story. And I want to know a little bit more. Were you always athletic?
I was athletic when I was much younger. Back in high school, I participated in track. I did very well. Went to college, Division I school, and then in the first 6 months, I hurt my knee, never to run again. So for the next 30 plus years, I chased my competitive instinct with every sport that wouldn't require my knees, mostly poker, pool, fishing, anything that I could do to keep myself active, but still missed the athleticism.
So you were active all throughout high school, even in your college days, you were active? I
was active up until my freshman year of college. And once I hurt my knee, I gained about 10 pounds per year for the next 10 years.
Wow.
I was a good size at the end of those 10 years and kind of maintained it for a very long time.
So tell me what happened back in 2020.
I was watching the Islander game, of all things, during the playoffs. Felt a tightness across my chest. Very odd, but one of my symptoms for having a heart attack is yawning. I guess I couldn't get enough oxygen. Turned to my wife, and we had young children at the time, and I just said, I think I'm going to go to the doctor. I'm going to go to the hospital. So drove myself to the hospial, which is highly not recommended.
Right.
But
because you didn't know what was going on at that time.
Not at all.
And your wife didn't know?
No. We just said something's wrong.
Something's wrong. Okay.
And it got a little worse. I always like to say, guys like to think that they're tough guys, right? And so on the way to the hospital, my wife actually called me and she says, are you, you're supposed to be talking to me on the way there in case something's going on. I said, yeah, but the Islander game is on. So
priorities, right?
As it got worse, and I pulled in and I parked. And as soon as the security guard said to me, can I help you? I practically jumped into his arms. I said, yes, please, So tears coming out of my eyes at that point, because now it was apparent what it was.
Now, did you have a previous health history of hypertension or any other kinds of issues prior to this episode?
No other issues. My blood pressure was fine. Got checked out every year. It wasn't anything apparent.
So once this happened and you went into the emergency room, what ultimately happened? What did the doctors do?
They put me in the cath lab, and I had 5 stents put in.
Wow. So did you actually have a heart attack, an MI?
Yes. Once I reached the hospital, I think it was considered a heart attack at that point, a widowmaker. Once they put in the 5 stents, it was, they said, hey, listen, that was just prior to the year prior to that, I had started a walking program, and I was starting to get myself in better shape, and they said that probably saved my life.
Yeah. Just that spark of beginning back into the exercise regimen kind of saved your life.
Yes.
And that warning sign, looking back retrospectively at that pain that you felt in your chest, is that something now that you, looking back at it, tell others this is not something to ignore?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like I said, it was a slight tightness across my chest,
and
the yawning, which was an odd symptom, but I guess it was my body trying to tell me I needed more oxygen, etc. But it was not a, big yawn like you just woke up or anything, just small little yawns.
So are you on medication now?
So I was on some medication when I first had the stents, etc. I am only on a statin and a baby aspirin.
Okay, good for you. So now tell me now, you've moved back into being athlete.
Yes, at the hospital. I was looking through my phone, and I had a number of friends back from both college and high school that were active. And I asked the doctor, what was any limitations?
Right. I know that's important.
Yeah, I was very worried about that. And he looked at me and says, well, I don't think you're going to have any limitations. I said, good, I'm going to do a triathlon.
So that's all you needed to hear?
That's all I needed to hear.
Right into the triathlon?
Yes.
So tell me the triathlon. Remind me what that is.
All right. So depending on, it's various distances, but it's swimming, biking, and running. There's sprint triathlons. There's an Olympic distance. There's a half Ironman and a full Ironman.
So when you say Ironman, that's lifting weights?
Oh, no. Ironman is the distance.
It's the distance. Okay.
Yeah, that's the ultimate. I guess you want to consider it almost like the marathon.
Okay.
Except there is a marathon at the end of it. So I think, and don't quote me on this, I think it's 2.4 miles.
Of running.
Of swimming.
112
miles of biking, and then a
Whoa.
marathon. Now, that's a full Ironman.
Okay.
So that is probably my ultimate goal.
Okay.
But there are shorter versions.
So you had to work your way up to this.
Oh, absolutely.
So how did you work your way up to this?
Oh, I just started by walking. Just that first year, it was just walking, losing a couple of pounds, starting to walk, run, trying to get myself back. Bought a bike, started biking. Not really with a full plan, just first year was general health to get back into it. Once I was ready to start working on it, I joined a club.
Okay.
There's a number of clubs on Long Island. I have to be part of Land Shark Endurance.
Okay. What is Land Shark? What is
Land
that?
Shark is a triathlon club.
Okay.
From the highest levels all the way down to people just starting. It's it really is a large group of people that, and we are one of the larger clubs on the island, that you get to pick everybody's brain. You get to work out with other people.
Find out how exactly do you do this.
Yes.
What shoes to wear and what to eat and all that kind of stuff.
So, from the lowest level at the time I was,
Right.
I was at a super sprint level where you barely, there's very few of those, but you do the event on a small level and you work your way up. And almost every day during the season, somebody's doing something somewhere. And because we're a couple of hundred people, I think it's about 200,
Yeah.
it's easier to find people to do it with.
That camaraderie really, it counts.
Absolutely.
When it comes down to meeting your goals, your marathon goals, probably dealing with that triathlon, you need somebody to help you.
Absolutely.
Keep you on target and on track.
Yeah, there's multiple accredited coaches on the teams, and you can always, between everybody's experience and asking them, it works out well.
Am I hearing the New York City Marathon?
I did that also.
Wow. Now how many miles is that?
That's 26.
That's a lot.
Yes.
You finished it?
I did. I finished
Whoa.
it. So
congrats.
Thank you. So this year I actually did my first half marathon.
Okay.
I did my first Olympic triathlon, my first half Ironman, which was the inaugural race at Jones Beach.
Okay.
And then I did the New York City Marathon. It's quite a year.
So you had the whole family at the end just clapping
Absolutely.
and cheering and woo,
Yes,
right?
Absolutely.
Oh, that's really great.
And they actually surprised me. They found me at mile 6 in Brooklyn, and I didn't know they were going to be there. That was kind of unexpected. You're just kind of starting out. It's my first marathon. I don't know what to expect. The next thing you know, your family, and how they found me in the crowd, I have no idea.
Yeah.
But
That's nice.
Yeah.
That's nice. So your cardiologist knows this.
yes. So I go every 3 months, and then, I think it's a couple years out now, so I think we moved it to 6, but he's aware of everything I'm doing. And it was pretty interesting. My last visit, he lost more weight than I did.
Oh,
he looked great.
Oh,
And
so
I
really...
asked him, I said, are you the one doing triathlons? And he had just decided to start working out.
So you
et cetera.
inspired your cardiologist.
I would hope so. Hope so.
So your numbers look good now.
Everything looks good.
Oh, that's great. That's great. You're listening to Your Family's Health on the voice of Nassau Community College. 90.3 WHPC. My name is Dr. Jeanine Cook-Garard, and today my guest is Vince Feola from Massapequa Park, an IT security senior manager at Northwell Health, who had a heart attack in August 2020 and fully recovered enough to create and participate in a triathlon as well as the New York City Marathon. And I have to say, I want to run that New York City. I'm a runner, but I really want to run that New York City Marathon. But that 26 miles is kind of a scary number for me.
I understand. Trust me, I understand. I did not have an intention of doing the marathon. I thought the half Ironman was going to be enough.
Yeah.
But then the club had a raffle for a entry because, we're one of the larger clubs, and I won the raffle. So it was. I guess I'm adding this to the list this year.
Yeah. You going to do it again?
I don't know if I'm going to do New York City because there's a lot of barriers to entry. It's hard. You got to do. There's multiple ways to get in and lottery. I think this year on my schedule might be the Philadelphia Marathon.
How many miles is that?
Same thing.
Is it?
Yep, still a marathon, just a different location. There's multiple across the country, but New York just happens to be one of the biggest majors.
How did your diet change? It did it.
It didn't. It didn't. I still need to get a lot better at it. I am not a big vegetable lover.
Okay.
I did add probably 4 to 6 fruits per day, which
good.
I was doing none before that.
Okay.
I was a complete meat.
What are you, a pasta guy or you were a meat guy?
Meat guy.
Okay.
Ribs.
Ribs guy.
Steak.
Oh, yeah.
Pasta.
Yeah.
All of it.
All that. Yeah.
When you're training as much as I did, it's pretty funny. You're so ravenously hungry, it doesn't matter as much.
Right.
But I would like to drop the weight only because it makes it easier on my knees.
It does.
Yeah.
It really does. So are you at your goal weight now?
Absolutely not. No, I still.
Really?
Oh, yeah. No, when I competed in high school, I was 165 pounds. When I started this journey, I was close to probably 265, and I'm down to 235.
Okay. So what is your goal weight?
Probably 200, but
200.
I'm not looking
bad.
to do that over the next 6 weeks.
Well,
I am still considered in certain events, a Clydesdale. So there are two different, in local events, there's a Clydesdale and an Athena. And for the men and women of a certain size, we have our own category.
Okay.
So it's really fun to be able to compete with people that are your size, et cetera. And it's not like you're competing against, the skinny kid that just came out of high school.
So is it age also that we consider? Yeah.
But the Clydesdales and the Athenas are usually a lot broader in age.
Okay.
Only because they want to try to keep you in the same
category.
Yeah, but that's only for certain events. Official Ironman events don't have that, and the marathon doesn't.
Really?
Yes.
Interesting. So how about your competitors that you compete with? Do they know your story?
Some of them. And that's the thing is, it's not so much competitors. It is a big community. And as I get further and further into it, and I'm meeting more and more people from other teams, they encourage you too. And you start to learn their stories and you start to find out about them.
Yeah.
So all the biking, you're on the same paths, you're talking to each other. There's different swim teams we're parts of to learn swimming, and everybody's learning from each other, even if you're on different teams.
Yeah. So in this journey that you had, the heart attack, and now with your health being the way it is, being able to involve yourself in triathlons and the New York City Marathon, how does that make you feel? I know it's kind of a funny question, but do you feel like you got another chance? Do you feel like...
Yeah, that's a lot of times, and that's the way I look at it is okay, so you had that wake-up call, you had something happen, and you want to be able to do something with it. It's not just, hey, I got my second chance. I could sit around, I could, and worry about it again happening. No, I always wanted to do a triathlon back when I was in high school, and just never thought about what I needed to do to get there. And so that it forces you to look at and say, hey, if I'm going to do it, it has to be now.
Yeah. Don't wait.
Yeah.
And it's never too late, right?
Oh, absolutely. I have people on my team that are close to 70 years old, and I have a couple of people on my team that are 15, 16 that are stupendous athletes, and they're really working towards Some of them just working towards finishing. So there's no judgment. There's
you just get out there and do it.
Get out there and do it.
Do
There
your
are
best.
people that, because Jones Beach was an inaugural event,
Okay.
there's a lot of people who this was their first time doing a half Ironman. And for that's a mile, 1.2 miles in the water, 56-mile bike ride, and a half marathon, all at the same time.
Wow.
And there were people who did it in 4 hours, and there was people who did it in 8.
Yeah, I have a crazy question.
Sure.
When you do that, when you jump in the pool, you jump in the water and you're doing the water part, swimming, you get out of the water and you continue running?
Yeah, well, no, you transition to your bike.
So do you have time to dry off and change?
Well, it's up to you how much time you want to spend. So you go into a transition area. So you come out of the water. Now, a lot of people wear clothes that will dry automatically.
Oh.
So it's part of your team kit, or you have clothes that are going to dry
as you're going.
Yes.
So you don't have a bathroom break?
There are porta potties in the transition area, and there are porta potties along the routes.
Okay.
Obviously you're trying to minimize how long it takes you, but for someone who's just trying to finish, you take an extra minute.
Okay.
Make sure your feet are dry and you put your socks and your shoes on.
Right.
This year was an incredibly difficult for the Jones Beach Ironman. It was during the monsoon, basically. There was a big storm. They had to cut the swim down because it was a little dangerous.
I'd say.
And there was 30-mile-an-hour winds on the course.
Wow.
And there were still thousands of people who did it and finished.
That's great. That's great. So I'm understanding that you have a wife who survived breast cancer.
Yes. So
wow.
She had was diagnosed and went through chemo and radiation for the prior 2 years prior to my heart attack. And just as she was kind of coming out of that, that's when I had my heart attack. So we looked at each other and we were like, okay,
Your turn.
We go again. Yep, my turn.
Wow.
So,
how is she now?
She's doing great. She's been cancer-free for over 5 years.
Thank
and
God.
I think it's just been 5 years. And she's been doing incredible with it.
And your daughters? You have two daughters?
Now they're 11 and 13.
Okay. How did they go through with all of this going on with mom and dad?
It was tough.
Yeah.
It was very tough.
Because they were in, high school?
No, well, eighth
really,
grade and
middle
sixth
school.
grade.
Yeah,
middle school.
That's a tough time, too.
Yes. Well, between that and COVID, it's been a tough time.
Challenge.
Yeah.
That was a challenge.
And I think kids are resilient to a point, but they got through it.
Yeah. And how important is that? I mean, I know that with having children in middle school and you're going through and your wife is going through, who was there to support your daughters when you were challenged? Did you have other family members who were supportive?
Yeah, no, I had my mother and my wife had her sisters.
Good.
But it was pretty tight knit. I mean, we did get help from family members.
How important is community when it comes down to these
absolutely.
kinds of things? Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I was blessed. My work environment was very supportive.
Good.
My home life was very supportive. Even now, I am able to, get that support from work to do all these things. It's not, work. It's not, and at home, it's also, my family supports me in a lot of what I do.
How did your job support you?
Well, Northwell's always pushing in a good way, pushing health. They have a walking contest every year for a number of years. They have incredible prizes, sometimes cash, sometimes trips to. They've done France, they've done Italy, they've done Ireland.
Northwell does that?
Yes, and one of the beginnings of my whole journey, my very fun story is, I joined a team, and about 4 weeks into the contest, one of my employees said to me, "This is a little bit embarrassing." I said, "What's that?" "You're the boss, and you're in dead last." I said, "Really?" He said, "Yeah, you're in dead last out of 10 people, so I said, "Great. Which one of you is next?
Right.
Who am I overtaking?"
Right.
So I ended up, I think, that year coming in third.
Okay. A little challenge helped?
Yes. It became an internal challenge with the group.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's really good. You're listening to Your Family's Health on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC. My name is Dr. Jeanine Cook-Garard, and today My guest is Vince Feola from Massapequa Park, an IT security senior manager at Northwell Health, who had a heart attack in August of 2020 and fully recovered enough to create and participate in a triathlon as well as the New York City Marathon. And again, you know, I think about you going from having a heart attack to participating in the triathlon, and I can probably sense that you have a lot of mental and emotional toughness to be able to be resilient in that way.
It's part of it.
Yeah.
It's part of it.
And how do you think you got that? Not everybody does that and is able to rebound that way emotionally. You know, what do you think that comes from?
Well, partially it's having the strong family, and the strong community. But I've always been an athlete that I've always wanted to push my boundaries. Mm-hmm. And like I said, if I hadn't hurt my knee my freshman year, I would have been a whole different track.
Right.
But I always wanted to compete at something.
Okay.
And now I'm just competing with myself.
That's good. Do you get after you hurt your knee? When you did the marathon, did you wear anything to support the knee,
I wear a brace like probably 95% of the time. The only time I don't wear is when I'm swimming.
Okay, so you wear the brace all the time?
If I'm not running or competing in anything, I don't wear it. Okay. But as soon as I'm going to wear it, as soon as I'm going to do anything physical, I do have to wear it.
So getting back to the diet. You say that you like to eat a lot of things, but I'm sure that your diet changed.
It changed. I did add all that fruit.
You did add fruit?
I added the fruit. I didn't really eat fruit at all.
So what'd you have for breakfast?
For breakfast today? I had an orange, an apple. I'm sorry, an orange, a banana, and a protein bar.
Good.
Yeah. But that was the first breakfast. Then I had a buttered roll, I think, after that.
A buttered roll?
Yes. I'm not giving everything up.
Right, no. But did you have I don't believe it's not butter, or did you have the real butter?
I had real butter.
Butter.
Absolutely. So certain things I will not compromise on. So I will, unless I was competing for an age group prize or as a professional, I'm still going to enjoy my life.
That's a good thing, though.
Yeah.
That's a good thing. So your future aspirations, what may that be? Again, you're going to do the triathlon again.
Yes, I actually have signed up.
You're going to do the Philly.
Well, I signed up for 2 half Ironmans.
Right.
One in Massachusetts and the other one in Jones Beach. I am going to sign up for the Philadelphia Marathon.
Okay.
I signed up for the Jovia Half Marathon, which is at Eisenhower Park.
Oh, yeah, I heard about that one.
Yep. I have an Olympic somewhere in the schedule somewhere. I think this year, one of the things I want to try to do, and I have to investigate it more, is a 5K swim. I've never swam that long. All of this is to get to a full Ironman. So
when you participate in the triathlon and the full New York City Marathon, I know that at the end or towards the end of the New York City Marathon, you hit a brick wall or you need to get a second win. Or what is that? And I'm a runner. I never hit a brick wall or got a second wind.
Understood. So the second wind I used to get. I actually, when I run, I always have a little bit left in the tank. And my kick at the end of most races is pretty hard. Yeah. Which means I'm not running hard enough in between. Yeah. But with that, about mile 20-something, and I was warned because the first park you come upon is Marcus Garvey Park and not Central Park. Okay. So people get confused and they think, I'm very close to the end. So that's kind of where I hit a wall where, to be honest with you, I think it was very short blocks, and every third block I had to walk for half a block. Okay. But then I realized that I had beaten my A time, I had beaten my B time, and I was within 4 minutes of a time that I was almost a half an hour faster than what I wanted. Wow. And this is after hitting a wall, just like everybody else. And I think I had 2 miles to go. And I said, if I really pick it up, I can hit that time. Mm-hmm. And I missed it by about a minute. How long does it take you to do a mile? I don't know. I haven't really competed in a mile. Okay. I'll tell you what I could do at 18. At 18, I was a sub 420 miler. Okay. I was a 156 half miler. Okay. Now I haven't done the mile, but my 5K time is about 28 minutes. Okay, fast. I think I need to speed up my pace. That's really, really good. So I know that when you're looking at what has happened and now that you have
going forward? I'm not going to ask your age.
It's 52.
Oh, you're 52? Okay.
52.
So how long do you think you're going to be able to do this?
Like I said, I have seen competitors that have gone all the way up into the 80s.
Okay.
It all depends on how you feel. And it maybe 5-10 years down the road, I might not be able to complete a half Ironman or a full, but there are local races and they are so enjoyable. It doesn't always have to be about,
It's
winning,
addicting, isn't it?
It is. It is.
You
I
wake up
actually have
and-
a
yeah.
neighbor who, for the first time ever, did a 5K in an event.
Yeah.
I think she's in her 70s, and she came home with a pie because she won her age group.
Oh.
And so she did it again this year. I said, "Did you get a pie?" She said, "They didn't give pies out, but I got a glass. It was something else."
Something.
Yeah, it was something, and she was all excited about it.
So where can people find more information about you? Do you have a website?
I don't. I didn't do this for the fame. I didn't do this. I actually just the story.
You're not a YouTuber?
No, not really. No. People ask me. They said, "Oh, my wife jokes around and says, are you
Facebooker.
Are you going to be an influencer now?" I said,
Yeah.
"No, not really."
Oh, that's the word.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not. That's not something.
That's not something that you want to do? I'm sure your daughters can help you with that, though.
Yeah, I'm sure they could. I enjoy meeting a lot of new people at races, etc., and I enjoy telling my story.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the way I get it out.
It's very inspirational, I have to tell you. It's very inspirational, especially at a time when people, they don't think of being able to be resilient like that after having something so traumatic happen in their life. You don't think, well, I'm afraid, after I have 5 stints, maybe I should just convalesce and just take it easy.
Yeah, and that's what my doctor said, that
Yeah.
you can either go two ways. You can either, you can go for it and do the things you always wanted to do, or be afraid.
So what is the one thing you want to leave with us when it comes to overcoming a setback of a heart attack and pushing yourself to the limit?
The setback for anything. I always say, like, if you wanted to compete in something or running, just use that one foot in front of the other. Just start.
Just start.
It doesn't have to, you don't have to go, well, I don't think I can do.
Just start.
Just start. If it takes you twice as long, doesn't matter. You're accomplishing something.
So thank you for being here, Vince Feola from Massapequa Park, an IT security senior manager at Northwell Health, who had a heart attack in August 2020 and fully recovered enough to create and participate in a triathlon as well as the New York City Marathon. We thank you for giving us this very inspirational story, and good luck to your future endeavors and continued health in the many years that you have to come.
Thank you.
This is Dr. Jeanine Cook-Garard from the nursing department here at Nassau Community College, and we want to thank you for listening to this week's edition of Your Family's Health.
We'd like to get your feedback on your family's health. Send your comments by emailing them to whpc@ncc.edu. Podcasts of today's show are available on iTunes, Android Podcasts, and Spreaker. This program was produced at the studios of Nassau Community College in cooperation with the nursing department. Join us next week for another edition of Your Family's Health on the voice of Nassau Community College, 90.3 WHPC.